Hello, good evening. What am I missing? Chat? There we go. Cool. I thought I'd do a little bit of work on Jump Death Company, which could be folly because who knows if they're still going to have rules in 10th edition or if they're still going to be good in 10th edition. But I've got these guys who've been on the painting table far too long, so I'm going to do a little bit of work on some Jump Death Company tonight. Yeah, I've got like a bunch of guys with Thunderhammers that need some love. This guy needs some tidy up with some black paint. Also need to get this Quilla thing on his. But yeah, good evening everybody. With 10th edition right around the corner, have I seen the new Thunderhammer stats? Yeah, I mean so Thunderhammers are no longer going to be 3 damage, right? They're going to be 2 damage with 6s doing devastating wounds, which means that will convert their damage straight into mortals. It does make me think that Power Fist Infernal Pistols, could that be the new meta for Death Company? I mean, it certainly could. Obviously, with a Thunderhammer, you don't get to take a pistol, so. Does it, like I said, this could be folly. It's not like I've painted things before that have been folly, as in like I painted them and then as soon as I finish them, they're not good anymore. I mean, that's kind of the story of my life with my slow painting style. But I still don't have my Dante. Dante has still not come. It's almost become a meme in itself now, in that like, here I am doing my Blood Angels content every week on the channel. Like, Dante obviously released, like at this, I don't know, at this point, was it like 4 or 5 weeks ago Dante released? It's been a while. It probably feels like longer just because I'm still waiting for him, but it feels like everybody on Twitter, everybody on Instagram, everybody on Warcom on the Twitter hashtag, everybody has Dante except for me. So I'm not loving that, to be completely honest with you. I am definitely not loving that. I guess I'll get him, hopefully sooner rather than later. But it's fine. It gives me an excuse to finish working on these Death Company, which are long overdue. Like so far overdue. So it's all good, I guess. Robert still, yeah, I mean, Element Games just still have him as in stock. I know a lot of other people are still waiting for him. A couple of people on the channel actually reached out to me now and said that they would send me their Dante, and I could send my one when it eventually comes. But I'm like, it's fine. I guess I'll get him when I'm meant to get him. I've got a week off work in June, so do you know what? If he does come, if he doesn't come until, I suppose, like nearer June, I'll probably use that time off work anyway to record like a battle. I kind of wanted to do a battle ready painting video for Dante anyway. You know, I can't compete with all the really good painters on YouTube. Oh, we've got a visitor. Come over here, little visitor. Come on. Come on. Who's supposed to be in bed?
Me.
And what are you doing?
I was just pretending I had ice cream.
You had an ice cream. Okay, is it time to go to bed? Yeah, why are you up? Back in a minute, guys. Alright, we'll probably be getting another. Like, I've put her in bed, but I can see her on the baby monitor. She's probably just gonna get right back out of bed. Good evening. Did I see the Thunderhammer? Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to talk about Thunderhammers. Devastating wounds on 6s. So that means every time you roll a 6 with a Thunderhammer, you will be dealing 2 mortal wounds. But obviously at the loss of 3 damage, right? So there's no more 3 damage in melee, which is kind of the most interesting part for me, in that, like, if they are going to make Thunderhammers 2 damage, then I guess big squads of melee guys are going to, well, I mean, they just lost a maximum, like, they just lost a third of their damage, right? Whether that's a good thing or not, probably for Blood Angels it's not a particularly good thing, right? If you just say, like, the Alpha Striking Death Company that we know and love are going to do less damage. But I mean, although they're going to do less damage, if you do, assuming that you can have still 5 attacks on a Death Company with a Thunderhammer, if you're going to be fishing for 6s, you could potentially do 10 mortal wounds. And sometimes, if you're doing less damage per hit, but if you're also adding in 10 mortal wounds, then 10 mortal wounds is bypassing all their saving throws. So arguably that might be quite good as well. It's pretty hard to land on. Is it a direct nerf for Death Company? I suppose in a way it probably is. Is it going to be a problem? I'm not sure. Based on what we currently know about 10th, what's your best heavy support vehicles for Blood Angels? That is the $1 million question, actually, War Thunder. Good question. I thought I was just coming on for a chill stream. He's like busting out the impossible questions. Let me think. So we know Land Raiders are going to be pretty good for the transport capacity, and the Land Raider guns are also pretty good because they've got basically an improved las cannon. Have I got a lot of entries for the painting competition? I checked it last week and there was at least 12. But I imagine there'll be a flurry of entries in the last couple of days. The painting competition ends on Friday. I'll put out a community post tomorrow reminding people that they have until Friday to submit. But there was like 12 when I checked like a week ago, because I just went on to check to see like the entries were coming through okay, and the email address. I haven't used that email address since last year's painting competition, so yes. There's probably going to be at least 20, 25, I imagine. I bet a lot of people are going to submit in the last 24 hours. Sorry, so Land Raiders are going to be interesting. The Repulsor Executioner potentially is going to be interesting. I don't own any Executioners, but the reason it's going to be interesting is it has the really nice D6+4 Laser Destroyer. We don't know if Laser Destroyers are going to be good. Like the Vindicator Laser Destroyer, which is funny because look what's next on my painting table. We're trying to decide what's going to be the next best, or we're going to try and decide what's going to be the best armor for 10th edition in terms of Blood Angels DTM. Good evening, how are you? That's a really good question. I mean, what I have at the moment is Land Raiders, or on my radar maybe, is Land Raiders. I'm kind of thinking that like in 8th edition relic, there's going to be so many good armor choices. What's going to be, which is good because like we went through an edition there where all the armor choices were dire. So now we're going to be spoiled for armor choices, and the ones that I think might be good are Razorbacks, because the twin link las cannons, Impulsors because potentially the firing deck or whatever that works like you could put a squad of like Eradicators in an Impulsor with a firing deck. We obviously know transports like Land Raiders, Repulsors are going to be a lot better. Even like Firstborn Predators could be better. I mean, it's too difficult a question. It's a good question, War Thunder. A really good question. I'll make a video when we know more. I mean, that video may actually be like, oh, chat disconnected. That was random. Please wait while we try and reconnect you. Okay, chat is back. Land Raiders are sold out since the sheet went out. I imagine Repulsors might even get sold out as well. Dreadnoughts will see a nerf this edition. I think we've already seen the Dreadnought profile, so they've got a 2-up save. Or at least the Ballistus Dreadnought has a 2-up save. So the Dreadnoughts are potentially going to have better armor saves than tanks. They have similar wounds, and they have toughness 10, I think. So I don't know if I agree with Dreadnoughts are being nerfed. Yes, they don't have -1 damage, which sucks. I mean, we say it sucks, but I actually don't know if it sucks. If the Dreadnoughts are becoming toughness 10, I'm not convinced they need -1 damage. And the other thing I suppose with the Dreadnoughts is they've got a 2-up save now, and it sounds like there'll be stratagems you could play to make their save even better. We know the Armor of Contempt strat, right, for the Gladiators Task Force, which will give them +1 to their save. So if you get hit with like a -2 weapon, right, on a Redemptor Dreadnought, I don't know what's going to be -2, a Thunderhammer or a Power Fist, right? So if you get attacked on a Redemptor Dreadnought with a Thunderhammer or a Power Fist, they're only wounding you on a 5, and when they do wound you, normally you would save on a 4, but you could pay 1 CP to save on a 3. So if you're able to save from like Power Fists on a 3 and they're only wounding you on a 5, I don't know if I think Dreadnoughts are nerfed. I think they're pretty fucking strong. There's less synergy with the auras for the Dreadnoughts, sure, but there's probably less synergy game-wide, right? Because like leaders aren't really throwing out auras anymore. They're throwing out, they're joining squads and making a squad. They're giving a squad a buff or whatnot. So yes, Dreadnoughts will have less synergy. I mean, you could say that, but anyone can take a Tet Marine. Like Blood Angels can run a Tet Marine. I ran Tet Marines to a bunch of tournaments in 9th edition. I almost won a GT with a Tet Marine with Blood Angels. That was, in fact, like the best performance I had at a GT in 9th edition. The one that was closest to winning was the one that had the Tet Marine in my list. I think he was what did he have? I think he had Quake Bolts and Soul Warden. And one of the reasons he had Soul Warden was he was babysitting like 2 Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts, and I wanted the Relic Contemptors to have permanent permanent protection against mortal wounds. And then obviously get +1 to hit and also get heals, right? I have 4 Land Raiders, can't wait to use them, full of Armor Terminators, my 8th edition list. I don't know if I feel like it's going to be the right call to field 4 Land Raiders. Maybe 2 you might be able to get away with, but I don't think 4 will be the list. Who knows, I suppose. It could be, maybe 4 Land Raiders will be meta. That'll certainly shake everything up, won't it? I hope they go full Horus Heresy with Dreads and make them OP, considering I have 5. Do you mean Horus Heresy, or what do you mean by HH? After seeing Shadow Sword, I doubt Land Raiders will be meta. I mean, I think Ablative Wounds will be meta. I think that's the best way to clarify it, right? Ablative Wounds will be meta. Like, everybody's going to be running some stuff in transports. Because why would you not when they're Ablative Wounds? I think it's really just going to depend on the cost of the transports, really. But I foresee a bunch more transports on the table, or a bunch more vehicles in general. Maybe is a better way to reword it. And I don't think it'll be a bad thing, because I think we were in a situation for 9th edition where armor just wasn't worth fielding, and I also think that the Blood Angels list that did well in 9th edition, like the list that was like 3 Sangre Guard, the Sangre Ancient, 3 Death Company, maybe you can swap out one of those squads for Vanguard Veterans if you like, but that list that was like very carbon copy, essentially it's a skew list, right? It's like, it's taking, we know Blood Angels are strong in combat, so we're just gonna skew our whole army to be strong in combat, and to the detriment or to the negligence of everything else. And I don't like making skew lists or playing against skew lists. I prefer playing like balanced armies. So yes, I think 10th edition is going to be a good addition for the game. I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm really hopeful. What do you think about Damage to Thunder? Oh, everybody's asking about Damage to Thunder Hammers. I mean, I guess they did say that lethality is going down. But I mean, Thunder Hammers doing 2 mortal wounds on 6s is I suppose it's impossible to tell till we know how much rerolls Blood Angels have access to. You know, because like if you go that Space Marine detachment where you have full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound, I imagine a squad of Terminators with Thunder Hammers could get a lot of 6s. And then you could argue, like, is a lot of 6s, i.e. like, I don't know, 10 plus mortal wounds, is that better than 3 damage hammers? Because typically the enemy won't get to save mortal wounds. You know, they can make saving throws against 3 damage hammers, right? And let's face it, most things you're hitting with Thunder Hammers, you would normally be hitting targets that are going to have something in the region of a 4-up save. Like, sometimes you'll hit targets that have a 5-up save. But most of the time, I feel like if your Death Company with the Thunder Hammers are going after the toughest enemies they can find, the toughest enemies have 4-up saves, typically. That's what I feel. So maybe not having 3 damage, but dishing out a ton of mortals, statistically isn't going to be too bad. That's something that I guess me and DTM will maths the shit out of and share on this channel once we have all the details. But yeah, I mean, it would be actually kind of interesting to know, like, we need to see what rerolls we have access to. Because just if 6s are bursting mortals but we don't really have any way to reroll wounds, then maybe that's kind of not great. If there's ways that we could maybe potentially reroll some wounds, then all of a sudden that's suddenly like, well, could we potentially bypass a lot of the armor saves that the opponents have? Then that's pretty strong. All cannons are 3 damage. Yeah, I don't think auto cannons changed. Did all cannons lose a point of AP? Because auto cannons currently are AP 1, right? Are they AP 0 now? What profile had the auto cannons on it? Oh, was it the Chaos profile? There was a squad of Chaos Marines or something leaked, wasn't there? I tell you today, the thing that made me the most happy today was Sisters of Battle can no longer guarantee 12-inch charges. Fucking man, because that was some broken shit. So that's one of the things I hated about playing Sisters. Hated. Morgan Val could give those Zephyrim full hits and wounds rerolls, and then they could just do their 12-inch move, 12-inch charge, and it was just like, oh, what a pile of boot. And I guess also Repentia used to be able to do like a 6 or 8-inch move, an advance, and then 12-inch charge. And it's like, yeah, thank God that's gone. they'll still have they'll probably have a higher percentage charge than others, but they will fail. If Death Guard have -1 damage, the new Thunder Hammers will be annoying. Yeah, I mean, again, it will really come down to how often you can do Mortal Wounds and 6s. What's your thoughts on Combat Patrol, John? I don't like the Blood Angels Combat Patrol. The game in it of itself, like the actual the idea behind building these combat patrols to get starter games, I think is great. But I'm not sure I love the units in the Blood Angels Combat Patrols. You get an Impulsor. You get like aggressors which can't go in the Impulsor. You get some intercessors and like a chaplain. It's very like mismatch of units. Because someone was saying to me today, they were like, you know the new chaplain you're getting in the 10th edition box, can he actually join... No, not the new chaplain, sorry, the new lieutenant. Can he actually join any of the squads that you get inside that box? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. I don't know if he can join any of the squads. And I think that combat patrol for Blood Angels maybe has a question mark there. It's like, if you are going to run that combat patrol, who's joining what squad? Like, where's the synergy? Because... maybe I'm just not seeing the synergy. Did anyone buy the Blood Angels Combat Patrol? I know a lot of times when it was brought up, people were like, oh, just buy the sorry, not Deathwing. Just buy the Dark Angels Combat Patrol, because it's better for Blood Angels, because it's got Inceptors in it, which we use. It's got a Redemptor Dreadnought in it, which we use. But yeah, I haven't bought any of the Combat Patrols, to be honest. I have a lot of leftover army models that I'm always working on, so combat patrols, I mean, it sounds like a cool mode, it sounds cool, but I haven't bought any of them. All cannons went from strength 7 -1 AP damage 2 to strength 9 -1 AP damage 3. Interesting. So here's the thing, Jim, auto cannons on the Predator, I forget the variants of the Predator. I think it's the Predator Annihilator, because you've got the Destructor, I think that's the one with the double las cannon, and you've got the Annihilator. The Predator with the Annihilator on it, the one that already had a las cannon on it, its las cannon already was 3 damage, right? Not many people knew that, because not many people field Predators. But trust me, its las cannon was 3 damage previously. They need to remove most of the vehicles from combat patrols if they wanted to work, but they said, where does it say sisters can't guarantee a charge? In the section about Miracle Dice, Rezio, it says they can use the Miracle Dice for all these things, but they can never use more than 1 Miracle Dice for the same roll. So if they're making like a roll that requires 2 dice, like a leadership test, or I guess it's called they're not called leadership test now, a shaken battle shock test. If they're making a battle shock test, or if they're making a charge, they can only replace 1 dice with a Miracle Dice. That's like called out and is in as many words inside brackets. And oh, it's a psyker that you get. Is it the Primaris Librarian? Oh, okay, even worse. Maybe it's the Dark Angels one that got the chaplain. Yeah, I don't know the synergy in the Blood Angels Combat Patrol, I guess. If you want to pick up Combat Patrol for another army, I feel like it would be a better idea. The Blood Angels Combat Patrol never felt that balanced. I remember, well, maybe not balanced, never felt that exciting, or even that Blood Angels. I remember when that Blood Angels Combat Patrol came out, people were saying like, you know, like, I think it was because they were, I think it's maybe just because there's no jump units in it. It felt to people like, if we wanted a combat patrol for the new edition, we would want some units with jump packs. Now I get that, like jump pack units are like, Blood Angels players really love jump pack units. I guess that's never going to change, and I guess that's why every time we get new Primaris models releases, everybody's like, where's the jump pack units? We're waiting. Us Blood Angels, we've been waiting. Give us our jump pack units. Surely 10, I mean, I feel like I said this at the start of 9th edition. I was like, surely 9th edition is going to be the edition where we get those jump pack Primaris, maybe like units in terms of like, not just units, but characters. like jump captains, smash Primaris captains, smash captains on a bike. I don't know. Hard to say, I suppose. But yeah, Sisters can't guarantee 12-inch charges anymore. Happy days. Honestly, if you've never played a Sisters player that was doing that against you, then be happy, because it was into Blood Angels. It just felt kind of broken, because they could basically trade with their Seraphim with very little risk. And it was very, very difficult for you to win that game, especially with the AP being, I think, -4 on the Seraphim's power swords. That doesn't remove their ability to guarantee a charge. That just means they need to roll one of the dice. Still lets them manipulate and reroll. Surely they have to. They can't just roll one charge dice and get a 6 and then pick another miracle dice, can they? Hey Emperor, how you doing? Thanks for joining in the stream. Maybe the Predator autocannon will be 4 damage. I doubt it, but maybe it'll be made better, I guess. Who knows? Predator autocannons, huh? I'm gonna open my window. It's actually warm here in Scotland for once. Might need to open it more, we'll see. Yeah, I hope we get our 3d6 charge back. I don't know if you guys remember, there used to be a strat for Blood Angels. I think the strat was when you arrived from reserve, you could just pay 1 CP to charge on 3d6. I mean, I kind of hope we... Actually used to be really good, because you used to be able to combat that with like Wings of Fire, so you could redeploy somewhere else on the board in the same turn. And then you could pay to 3d6 charge. So it was expensive, but it was cool, and it was thematic, and it was strong. It effectively always guarantees a 7-inch charge. Well, sure, yeah, I mean, it guarantees the 7-inch charge, but it doesn't guarantee a 12-inch charge res, which is what they were able to do right now. I lost a couple of tournaments to 12-inch charges, guaranteed 12-inch charges, and that was very frustrating, to be honest. Do you think the new Assault Doctrine 3d6 charge might be too much, and hence we won't get the 3d6 charge? We don't know what Assault Doctrine is right now. We don't even know if Blood Angels are getting Assault Doctrine, right? Nathan, because Assault Doctrine... I think Doctrines are part of that Gladiators task force. So I don't think we're getting... Doctrines, period. I think we're going to get our own detachment rules, and they aren't going to include Doctrines. So I think if there was a 3d6 charge strat, it will be in the Blood Angels book. Do you know what? I think we need to keep our expectations low, because we have to look at that old stuff with like fond memories, but like I don't even know if we'll get 3d6 charge back. I was really sad when they removed it. I was also really sad when they removed the same turn redeploy, because they removed the same turn redeploy for us, but then gave it back to, like, Votan had it, right? The teleport shunt that Votan had is like a same turn redeploy, and I think they were able to do it for like no CP. We are gonna get like a vanilla Blood Angels detachment, right? Like, we are gonna get rules for our first detachment with the release of 10th edition. Whether or not that's a competitive detachment, I guess, is the $1 million question. And then when the Codex comes, which will be 12 to 18 months later, then there might be more detachments for Blood Angels. Maybe there's a Lamenter's detachment. Maybe there's a Flesh Tearers detachment. Who knows? But we are going to get like a detachment we can use at the start of the 10th edition, like a Blood Angel specific detachment. They said they're not going to preview it on Warhammer Community, which is a little bit sad because they said that if they previewed it, it would take them too long or something. Votan have the same as the Orc redeploy. Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, so do like Necrons have an Orb of Darkness, which is like they get to redeploy a commander and a whole squad of guys. Like typically a much bigger squad than Blood Angels get to redeploy with their Orbs of Darkness for Necrons. So I don't know if in my opinion, it didn't seem justified to take away the redeploy for Blood Angels and leave it for a bunch of other factions, but you know, I'm not a rules writer, I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't know if I ever remember in 8th edition thinking our redeploy was too strong, but maybe somewhere some data told them it was too strong, you know? Someone with the Warhammer community did say they weren't doing sub-faction previews. Yes, it was just mentioned in like one of their Facebook posts or Twitter posts or something like that. So we're not going to get a sub-faction. We are going to get sub-faction detachments for Blood Angels when 10th edition launches, but we're not going to see a preview of them. So read into that as you may, I guess. I don't really know what that means. Hey, good evening, Burgosaurus. But in the meantime, on the run up to 10th edition, has anyone been following Bolt Gun? Because I am excited about Bolt Gun, I'll tell you that. It basically looks like a Warhammer FPS that is Doom 1, Quake 1. I don't even think we've seen if Ultras can rapid redeploy yet. I don't think we've seen much rules for Ultramarines at all, right? I mean, I guess we've seen Gilliman's datasheet, but even just seeing Gilliman's datasheet, his datasheet's a bit weird because although he has an Ultramarines keyword, it's like none of his actual abilities require Ultramarines. So Gilliman's a bit of a mystery really at the moment, like what can he do, who can run Ultramarine, or sorry, not who can run Ultramarines, who can run Gilliman. There's just a million questions at the moment. You're more excited about Bolt Gun than 10th edition? Okay, well I mean, I'm more excited about 10th than Bolt Gun, but I am excited to see Bolt Gun. Was anyone at Warhammer Fest, did anyone get to play Bolt Gun? I'm surprised they don't have a demo up on Steam, honestly. I would have played it if they'd had a demo. I have actually pre-ordered it because there's 10% off right now if you pre-order it, so I've pre-ordered it. You don't see the point in being excited about 10th till you can play it? Well, I mean, I'm excited, and hopefully the day that comes out 10th, I'm going to try and do like a full day stream of gaming, so we can all learn 10th together. That's the hope. I guess we'll see what day it comes out. I guess we'll see if we actually can get a copy of it on time, because there's been a lot of stock issues as of late with things, which hopefully they'll have it sorted by the time that 10th comes, right? Evening. Have you ever collected other armies in the past? Yeah, I collected 3 armies. I collected Orcs, Eldar, and Guard, and my friends played all of those armies, and I traded them all for more Marines. So you know Brett, I'm sure, from the channel. I gave him all the Orcs. I gave Kev all the Eldar. I mean, I actually gave them the armies before, and then like in retrospect, they were like, "Oh, cool, you're giving me all this stuff. Well, I have these Marines. I'll give you these." So it wasn't like I actually purposely traded them. I just gave them away because I was like, "I've got too many armies. I'm never finishing anything. I'm focusing on my Blood Angels. So here's all my Eldar. You will make use of them," sort of thing. And then my friends all sort of went like, "Oh shit, yeah, okay. We'll give you a lot of Space Marine stuff because we have a lot of Space Marine stuff, and we're not focusing on that as much, especially now you've just given us like 1,000 points of the armies that we collect." So yeah, I think out of the 4 armies that I had, I don't know, I just always liked the Blood Angels the most. I'm gonna have to put up a community article with my thoughts on the new Thunderhammer, right? Because everybody wants to know the thoughts on the new Thunderhammer. I think it's fine. I think it'll still be good. Like I think people are very worried it's not 3 damage anymore. I think it'll still be good because it does mortals on 6s. But it does make me wonder if Infernal Pistol / Power Fist and Death Company are going to be the new go-to, right? Because they're going to have the same AP and they're going to have the same damage, and then you're going to be able to mix in that pistol that potentially can do a lot of damage. And potentially they're cheaper. I guess the real question is, how expensive is a Thunderhammer going to be against how expensive is a Power Fist going to be? If the Power Fist is 5 points cheaper, then point for point efficiency might mean that Power Fists are actually a really good option again. And I don't think Power Fists have been a good option. Like if we want to talk about like where Power Fists a good option in 9th edition, I think the argument's probably no. Like not many people were running around with lots of Power Fists, right? And that's what typically happens in this hobby, is things will be strong for an edition, a season, whatever, and then they'll fall off, and this is why doing magnets on your models is your best friend, because if you didn't do magnets on your models, like these these Thunderhammer guys I'm painting right now, then these guys will have to go sit in the cupboard for like 2 years because they're not competitive anymore, or they're not as competitive as Power Fists, right? But it's kind of hard to make these assumptions until we have all the rules in front of us. Once we have all the rules in front of us, I'm more than happy to make some comparison videos. We'll math it out, we'll work out how much better or worse Power Fists are on different squads, we'll do all that, it's not a problem. Good evening, Anton, how are you? Pally K, good evening. Power Fists look cool. Yeah, and Power Fists are an iconic weapon as well, Foz. Like, they've been around since... I think Power Fists have probably been around since before Thunderhammers. So if the de facto choice was just like Thunderhammers and no one ever ran Power Fists, that's probably actually kind of a bad thing for the game. So now Power Fists might be good again. Hey BA Chaplin, what's happening? What weapon has the best upgrade? Gilliman's pistol? Bolter has had the best upgrade as far as I'm aware, but like I guess bolt rifles have got quite a bit better. I don't know, what do you guys in the community think? I did think that, Foz, like if Power Fists are becoming really good again, like same strength as a Thunderhammer, same AP as a Thunderhammer, and we know like infernal pistols are pretty useful now with all the armor running around. Then like Blood Angels do have a pretty useful unit that can take a power fist and an infernal pistol. Like that would be a real, like, let's say Games Workshop don't bring out any new Sangreguard, but Power Fist, Infernal Pistol, Sangreguard are the shit. Then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh damn, I need to get myself... I can tell you right now, I have 30 Sangreguard. I think I have one that is Power Fist, Infernal Pistol. I think I've got maybe 5 maximum with Power Fists. I fortunately, like really fortunately, like the last 10 guys I did, I think I magnetized their Incarmite swords. So I've got maybe 10 out of 30 that all I'd need to do is like make their Power Fist arm, and then I could have 10 with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords. Infernal Pistols and Power Fists. But I have a metric ton of them that are not magnetized. So that's going to be annoying. John said he got himself a cheeky Land Raider for £40. It's got the Forge World doors. I think it'll get some use for sure, John. I think Land Raiders are going to be really good. I'm convinced when the 10th edition box set goes on sale in June, I think they said, I'm going to buy the 10th edition box set. I'm going to buy the Blood Angels cards, and I'm going to pick up one more squad of Bladeguard veterans. I have 8 fully done Bladeguard veterans, so that would put me up to 11 if I got one more squad. I have a Bladeguard lieutenant here on the table from the Indomitus box, this guy. So that would give me 12 if I do this guy. He's got a custom head on him and a custom shield. So that would give me 12 Bladeguard. And then I'm thinking I would do... I've never made my Bladeguard Ancients. I've had those Bladeguard Ancient models since Indomitus came out. That's the Bladeguard that never got a sword. It's kind of silly he didn't get a sword considering his name's Bladeguard. But regardless, I never made that model. I'm wondering... because it's Primaris, it's probably going to get some usable rules to give it some sort of role, or give it some sort of use. So I'm wondering, in the time that I buy these new 5 Bladeguard, I think I add the Bladeguard Ancient as well, just in case the Bladeguard Ancient is good. He might be a pile of crap, but he's been rubbish since he came in, and sometimes, I mean, like if it's a Primaris model and it's been rubbish since he's come, then does that mean there's a chance that like they know he's rubbish because no one's buying him, no one's running him? So like you could get quite interesting / decent rules. If you look at the models, they've already they've rethought about everything, right? Like it's not just like, hey, because 8th to 9th edition, like if you think about 8th to 9th edition, some things were super similar. Like the Blood Angels Codex, like I wouldn't call the 9th edition Blood Angels Codex and that 8th edition Codex. It was like 8.5. It was like some of the pages were literally word for word identical, probably, like the data sheets and stuff. Some of the relics, I think, I feel like some of the relics were identical as well, maybe. So hard to remember precisely, but yeah, definitely some of the stuff from 8th to 9th was very like incremental changes. So if they've done like big changes on everything and they've looked at everything, could the Bladeguard Ancient not having a blade, maybe he doesn't have a blade, but maybe his banner's super awesome, and maybe you're going to want a Bladeguard Ancient in your Land Raider or your Rhino or wherever you're transporting your Bladeguard. I don't know, I'm just saying, I feel like if I don't paint up my Bladeguard Ancient, he's going to get some awesome rules. If I do paint him up, he probably won't get awesome rules. But I'm just saying how I feel. Like, is it going to be worth spending an extra little while making sure I've got a Bladeguard Ancient ready? I think the answer is going to be yes. Juan bought a box of Bladeguard and like 5 Primaris Lieutenants off eBay and modified the gun hands. There was a time you could get those lieutenants for £3 or £4 each. They were part of that the Imperium magazine. And yeah, if you got issue 1 of that magazine, they were like £3, £4 for that lieutenant. So good for you doing that. I kind of meant to do it, but like, I only really have one or two shops in town that stock those sort of magazines, and do you know what? I don't know if I just go down on the wrong day or if I'm not passionate about hunting for them, but I never seem to get those. Snellers has almost finished a Blade Guard Ancient. They'll reissue the Blade Guard Ancient with a weapon. They certainly could, right? Because they reissued the Primaris Ancient with a sword. So maybe the best thing to do, Reziel, is to what does the Blade Guard Ancient hold in his hand? In one hand he's got the banner. I actually don't even remember the model because he's been in a box for 2 years. Does he hold a bolter or anything in his other hand? I feel like I would remember if he was holding a bolter. I don't think he is. Has he maybe just got his hand at his side on a pistol or something? I don't know, but maybe the real thing to do would just be to convert him to have a sword, because he's probably going to eventually get released with a sword. Foz says that's his logic for Reavers. Do you know what? I have a squad of Reavers that are already painted. Like I bought the 10-man box and painted 5 of them. So for me, I'm not going to paint the other 5 until I see the rules. But like I can understand. I can understand the hoping, Foz, that you're like, I'm hoping that Reavers have had crap rules pretty much since they came out. They actually came out right at the start of the 8th edition. They were one of the first Primaris models to come out, to be honest. That's why I was so convinced that like Primaris jetpacks, jump packs wouldn't be long behind them, because Reavers kind of had those pseudo grav shoot / jetpack things. But you never really materialized into anything beyond that, did it? GW doesn't want you to convert models. No, they don't, but I convert, man. One of the things I find the most fun... He has a bolt pistol? Thanks, Pally. One of the things I find most fun in this hobby is converting models. Like, it's literally the most fun. And I know some of the guys at GW like converting models, because I don't know if you guys know Nick from Warhammer, from the Warhammer Plus Battle Reports. Well, he liked my Roboto Gilliman conversion, because I put up a picture on Twitter. I tagged him. I think it was during March for McCraggy. And my Roboto Gilliman doesn't have hardly any paint on him. He's literally got 3 colours on him slapped so I could take him to a tournament. Like, his paint job is terrible at the moment. Like, he needs another 30 hours in him to even just sort of start looking respectable. I sent him the paint, I sent him a picture on Twitter and tagged him and said, I know I'm not technically March for McCraggy, but like, here's my Roboto Gilliman. And he was like, how could I not like this? So although maybe Games Workshop doesn't love people doing conversions, they know it happens, and I don't think... They probably make a lot of sales off conversions. I don't think they necessarily hate people converting. Yes, they want to make a new model and get you to buy the new model, but... I think overall, if you convert, like, a lot of people enjoy that part of the hobby. I don't think they necessarily hate people converting stuff. It's funny though, because when we talk about Games Workshop, we always talk about like the giant corporate entity. We don't know what individual people are thinking, right? Like, and I mean, corporations are, you know, worldwide in everything, like everything from Starbucks to Games Workshop. Every corporation is designed to make money, right? You know, you don't make a corporation if you're just wanting to have fun, do you? So I don't think it's a problem that people do conversions. I think they're actively engaged in the hobby, they're having fun, they're sharing their passion with other people, they're doing the creative. I've been watching a bunch of people's videos on like Warhammer Fest, and I guess a bunch of people entered like sort of borderline silly models to the Golden Demon. And like, I get that, right? Like, it's like Golden Demon, it's their big prestigious painting tournament. They can't have someone enter something really stupid that doesn't fit within the IP, or maybe crosses some, like, I don't know, borderline moral issues or something. So, like, yes, they have some rules that they have to follow, but as far as you buying a model to convert it, or as far as you putting a sword on a model, or like look at that new Terminator armor, Terminator Captain. Like someone's going to convert him to have a thunder hammer, right? Someone's going to convert him to have a power fist. I don't think in the grand scheme of things they care about that. Yes, that means that person will not buy the model if it comes out with a power fist, but like that person is engaged with the hobby. There's plenty other models they'll buy. I think it's fine. Land Raiders out of stock. Evening, Ed. How are you? Nathan says he likes converting more than painting. I'm sort of with you. Type Zero says, I see you got your ability to live stream back. I did get my ability to live stream back. It was a giant misunderstanding why I lost it. The way that I got it back, the best way I got it back was to tweet. I think there's a YouTube creators channel on Twitter. I think if you search Twitter for YouTube creative or YouTube creators, that's like essentially the YouTube help desk. And if you have a problem with your YouTube channel, they are pretty accommodating, or they're pretty understanding, and they're willing to give stuff a manual review. And I lost my live stream from an automatic, like I guess the YouTube bot picked up something in my stream it didn't like. So I managed to get someone human to look at it and go, yeah, okay, you can have your streaming ability back. So if you lost your ability to stream, the best thing you can do is reach out on Twitter to YouTube. They don't really have a way of contacting them through the YouTube backend, I guess. I don't really know why. I think they probably just would get spammed with too many tickets, so... Land Raiders out of stock everywhere. Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of people talk about Land Raiders out of stock. Are repulsors out of stock, or repulsors are all good? Because the one that I don't have is the repulsor executioner, and I'm honestly slightly interested by it. I think executioners might be better than people are giving them credit for. I guess we'll see. There was a hot minute, like during 8th edition. I think it was like Iron Hands with repulsor executioners that was really strong, but it didn't last a whole lot of time. Ed's still waiting for his Dante. Yeah, join the club, Ed. It's been quite frustrating waiting for Dante. It just feels like it's been a very long time. I hope that they're more on the ball with the new starter box, because like I think loads of people are going to want that new starter box. If you think Blood Angels are quite a small chapter, I suppose. Hey John, thank you so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate that. I think we're like just a couple of members away from our goal for May already, so yeah, thanks so much, John. You know that we have we have a private room over in Discord for channel members. Myself and like I guess a lot of other pretty serious Blood Angels players chat in the channel member room like every day. So right now I guess all of our chat is about 10th edition speculation, but at times closer to like during the edition we're chatting about tournaments and we're chatting about lists. So try and if you want to, you don't have to, find your way over to our Discord and link up your account and get into our members only room. You're more than welcome there. According to this, they have made more of the new starter box than any other release they ever have done, so here's hoping. Well, that would be great, because I think the starter box is going to be super popular. I guess that if you don't care about all the things in the starter box, though, you probably will be able to pick individual models or kits from eBay for a fraction of the price. But I have the last two starter boxes, Dark Imperium and the Indomitus, so I kind of want the starter box to add. Plus, I have the Death Storm box, And like this Leviathan box kind of reminds me of the Deathstorm box, so I really want the Leviathan box. Even if I don't necessarily think a ton of the stuff is super strong for Blood Angels, I still really want the box. I think the squad that I'm least excited about is the Infernus squad, right? I'm probably gonna sell one of the squads of Infernus troops. I don't know if I rate like just 10 guys with flamers. I get they're called pyroblasters and they're 1 higher AP than flamers, but to me I think they're just still flamers. I think if I want guys with flamers, there's better ways to get them, and that's maybe my thought on the Infernus troops is like, if I want flamers, would I not just run centurions or aggressors, right? These guys have flamers, they have lots of flamers, and they also have lots more toughness, and they also have lots more saves, armor saves, and they also are really nasty in close combat. So, yeah, the Infernus squad to me seems like the one unit that I just don't care about at all, I think, in the new box. My biggest hope is the Land Raider Achilles doesn't go Legends. I kind of hope that we see the Achilles. What I'm going to do with the Turnids, Miles is going to start collecting Turnids. You guys know Miles from my stream. He was actually my teammate in the team tournament I won in January. Miles typically plays Eldar and Knights. He's adding Nids as his third army, so I wasn't sure. I thought I might keep the Nids, but then Miles messaged me and was like, do you want to trade your Nids for more Marines? And I was like, yeah, okay, because the Nids will probably sit in a box on my shelf for like, I was going to say 6 months. They'd probably sit on a box on my shelf for 6 years before I get to them. So I'll just get double the Marines. And I kind of want 2 of the Ballistus Dreadnoughts. I'm not sure that I'll field 2, but I guess I want the option to field 2. So I'll have 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. Yeah. Infernus is only good if they have OC. Well, they don't. They just have 1 OC. So they're not... If they were troops, maybe I could get on board with the Infernus troops. Or the Infernus squad, but they're not troops. They're standard Marines. They got 1 objective control. Did we see the Ballistus profile? Yeah, we know everything about the Ballistus. Was on one of the Warcom articles. You got... basically, it's got that... It's called a Ballistus Las Cannon, but it's basically a strength 12 Las Cannon. 2 shots, -3, d6 +1. Then it's basically got like a crack missile, strength 9, d6 -2. Or maybe I think it's strength 10, -6, -2, d6. And then the interesting thing about it is it's got a rule where if you shoot a target that's more than half its starting strength, i.e. like more than half its wounds remaining, or starting strength, I guess, wounds or starting strength, then you will get to reroll all hits. So it's pretty accurate the first time you shoot it at a full strength target. So in some way, like, essentially that gives it rerolls to hit, right? I think it seems decent. Probably cheaper and better to take a Gladiator, says Jim. I suppose it depends on what you want, Jim. What was the OC value on the Dreadnoughts again? I think the Dreadnoughts were like OC4, right? It does make me... The Ballistus profile does make me wonder if Redemptors are going to be good again, though. Like, I think Redemptors might be quite good. Gilliman buffs the OC? Well, sure, but I mean... Okay, so I mean, maybe, I guess the answer is that Infernus are good for... Well, I think Infernuses are probably okay for some chapters. I just don't think they're good for Blood Angels, right? So maybe we'll see some people running them. I just think we'll probably not see Blood Angels running them much. Which is fine, not everything needs to be good for Blood Angels, right? But yeah, in the next couple of weeks, I've actually started the slides already. I'm going to make a video where I go over basically everything that's in the Start Edition box. I'm going to give it a score out of 10, and I'm going to say if it's worth picking up in if it's worth buying for Blood Angels. So that's a video that, you know, it's coming, and I'll try and be very objective on that video. What model do we want to be able to run in 10th that we couldn't run in 9th? Oh man, you guys are keeping me on my toes with the questions tonight. Fucking A. A model that I would like to run in 10th that couldn't run in 9th. I mean, arguably, I've ran Land Raiders in 9th, but they weren't good in 9th, right? So you could probably... The simple answer would be like a Land Raider. But I'm trying to think if there's something more exciting than that. I mean, I've run the Gladiators a bunch of times in 9th. I also ran the Storm Speeder a bunch of times in 9th, which I don't know if I loved in 9th edition, but again, it's going to be better now in 10th edition because of the additional toughness and the additional OC value, right? So, there's a few things there that are interesting in terms of like, hey, you could probably run these a bit more than you could before. I'm trying to think if I've got anything that I never really ran. The thing that I never really ran that I fully painted was Hellblasters. I don't know if Hellblasters are going to be that good to run in 10th, sorry. Is there anything that you wanted to run in Foz? Outriders? Okay, yeah, cool. The obvious answer is Outriders. Yes, okay, I want to run my Outriders. So these Outriders were painted like the week after Indomitus came out. Or was it? Yeah, it was Indomitus. These guys actually need sprayed with the, you know, the dust stuff, the compressed air to get the dust off them. So I started this guy like the week after Indomitus came out. I was working on all three of them. I was like, this guy's even got a Sanguinary Priest sword arm. Like, that's a custom arm. So this would have been the easy to build kit where I customize their arms. That bit's custom. That bit's custom. Free-handed on some X's. It's not the best X's, but I mean, this is my painting 3 years ago. So I was excited to paint these guys. And then I played them twice on the battlefield and went, they don't do anything. And then put them in a drawer. And they've been in a drawer for 3 years. So yeah, okay. Outriders are the thing I'm most excited to play. I think I've still got 3 Outriders on the sprues as well. So I would like to get them off the sprues. But if they're garbage on the tabletop, then that's literally how my painting goes. Like, if you are a competitive model, you get painted in this house. If you're not a competitive model, you get put into the pile of shame, regardless of how far through the paint job I am. Because I guess with that Outrider, it's not like I've just taken them off sprues and sprayed them. I spent a good couple of hours like base coating them and stuff like that, and then it's like, yeah, you're turbo on the table, alright, you get canned. So yeah, Outriders, good call, DTN. That's what I'd like to run, is I'd like my Outriders to feel like they can kill stuff and be useful. And I would like to finish painting them. I know that I was painting them Death Company and there's technically no Death Company Outriders, but that's one of the things that I love about Blood Angels, is like, I can decide that I am bored of painting red at some point, because I paint every single week. You guys know I paint every single week. I'm literally on this channel every single week doing painting streams. And before I was doing YouTube, I guess, I painted a lot more than I did since I started YouTube. I guess one of the reasons I don't paint as much when I'm doing YouTube is half the time I make YouTube videos, and half the time maybe I live. Like, I definitely didn't play a game every week. I know I haven't played a game every week for the last couple of weeks. It's because 10th's coming and I'm desperately trying to get stuff painted. But like during most of 9th edition, right, I played like a game every single week because it's content for the channel and people like to see it and people like to see how you play as Blood Angels. And I'm sure during 10th edition, once 10th edition starts gearing up and we have all the rules and there's tournaments to go to and stuff, I will be gaming on the channel every week. And it'll always be a Blood Angels game. Like every week we'll get a Blood Angels game. Before all that, I did a lot more painting, right? Like I didn't game every week. I painted every week. I painted every night before I had kids. And sometimes it's like, okay, I've just painted red guys for the last 3 months. I don't want to paint another squad of red. I'm going to do some Outriders. They look pretty cool if I gave them black bikes, and that would be an interesting, unique squad that no one else has. Same as how I did my Blade Guard in gold, because I felt like, well, do you know what, I just painted a bunch of guys in red. I think when I did my Blade Guard first, I just finished like a squad of Relic Terminators, and then a squad of Incursors, and then a squad of Infiltrators, and then I think I'd done a squad of Inceptors too, so I'd painted 4 squads of red in a row, and I was like, you know what, my Blade Guard are going to be gold, because First Company and Blood Angels typically wear gold armor, if you think of Sangre Guard. So I'm just going to do my Blade Guard in gold because I'm bored of painting red. So that's the same thing. Like, I just want to make my stuff stand out, look cool, be unique, and always, and never burn out, right? So like, I obviously just finished that Redemptor Dreadnought, which was black, and I'm doing 5 Terminators, which are black, and then I'll probably move to another colour. Will Games Workshop update the Land Raider sculpt? I mean, they might. I think they're more likely to update vehicle sculpts than they are to update, like, they're not going to update like Death Company sculpts, right? They might give us like a Primaris Death Company jump pack, but they're not going to update Firstborn Death Company. I feel like maybe, I mean, they might, but I feel like it's less likely. Whereas, like, could I see them updating a vehicle like a Land Raider that's more generic now that anybody can use? Yes, I think that's possibly more. I feel like there's more chance War Thunder, but who knows again. I ran Ball Predators in 9th edition here in the last couple of months, Foz. Did I not just beat Chaos Demons like 2 weeks ago with Ball Predators, like 2 Ball Predators on my list? I mean, it would be nice to see more Ball Predators, but I think Ball Predators might suffer a little bit in 10th edition because the reason Ball Predators will suffer is because they don't have any anti-armor guns. And I think one of the reasons you'll be taking armor is for anti-armor guns. So in some ways, the Ball Predator might not be the great... Like, a Firstborn Predator might be decent, but it might be a case of the Ball Predator isn't actually that useful. It's hard to say precisely, right? While we still don't know all the details, but just spitballing some ideas, I guess. Jim had a ton of fun running the Storm Raven in 9th. Did you run it before the Arcs of Omen season, Jim, or did you run it just purely Arcs of Omen? Because it did get like a lot more viable with Arcs of Omen, right? I hope that GW have learned a few things from the Arcs of Omen season. When I first saw it, I thought it was a little bit not good, I guess, but it's turned out to be okay. And some of the like flexibility we had, and I think they have learned some stuff, because it sounds like army building in 10th edition is going to be a lot more flexible than it was in 9th, right? In general, I guess. You run it during Arcs of Omen with a 3 war gear. Well, I mean, that's why when I run the Ball Predator as well. Makes a lot of sense, yeah. It would be good to give the fly keyword to Mephiston. You know, Mephiston's fly used to work a lot different. It used to work in 8th edition that once you cast Fly, you flew all the way through till your next psychic phase. They only changed it in 9th when you only fly during like your current phase. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Mephiston will have Fly just baked straight into his profile. Wouldn't that be nice? Lee says he wants Razorbacks to be good again. I don't own any Razorbacks, Lee, but I kind of think I'm kind of thinking the way you're thinking. I'm thinking that Razorbacks, the Twin Link las cannons, and the transport ablative wounds could actually be pretty useful. Like, I think that could be pretty good. What's up, Highland Phoenix? Good evening. How are you? So I'm on board with them making Razorbacks good. I would like to buy a Razorback actually. I've never owned a Razorback. I've owned Rhinos, I've owned Predators, I've owned Whirlwinds, Land Raiders. I think I've owned just about everything, but yeah, I've never owned a Razorback. I could be on board with buying a couple of Razorbacks. I think Twin Assault Cannon is going to have devastating wounds, 6 is to deal mortal wounds, since that seems to be the standard for miniguns. Yeah, so will Twin Assault Cannon then be... Will it be both devastating wounds and twin linked? What has a twin linked assault cannon except the Ball Predator? Because the Gladiator, I forget the name of the gun on the Gladiator, but it's not a... Is it a twin-link Gatling cannon on the Gladiator? It's funny, I've actually used that Gladiator a bunch of times. I know it's 24 shots. I know it's strength 6-1. I don't know the name of the weapon. You got 3 Razorbacks ready to go. Well, I'm jealous. Send me them. You could paint 3 more, right? And then you could send the 3 you have to me out of the kindness of your heart. Because I've got lots to paint, Lee. Like, loads. If you knew how much I paint, Lee, you would find it in your heart to send me your 3 Razorbacks. You'll be forever commemorated on the channel. We'll write, Lee sent us these Razorbacks on every live stream. I've got 2 Land Raiders in the pile. I've got probably two Predator Annihilators or Destructors in the pile. I'm about to add 3 Dreadnoughts, right? I'm going to add the 2 Ballistuses and the Brutalis. I was joking with Kev. I saw Kevin. I work in the same place as Kev, if anyone didn't know. I saw Kev, like... I was going to say, I don't think it was like lunch break or something. I think I was just walking to the bathroom, and Kev was... The water cooler at my work is near the bathroom. So I was walking to the water cooler, I was walking to the bathroom, and Kev was there as well, and I was saying to Kev, like, Kev, man, I just have, like, I had a lot of Blood Angel stuff to do now before anyway. Now I just feel like I've got, like, 5,000 points of stuff to do. Like, I want to do Land Raiders, I want to do Invader ATVs, I want to do Ball Predators, I want to do regular Predators, I want to do like 3 or 4 new Dreadnoughts. Like, it's ridiculous what I've got to add to my pile of shame now. So if anyone was worried about me not doing Blood Angels painting, I don't think anyone was worried, but if anyone was worried, then there's nothing to be worried about. I've got like 5 years of painting. And then Highland Phoenix said, no, it wasn't Highland Phoenix, DTM said, add a 0 to the end of that, John. You got 50 years of Blood Angels painting ahead of you. I've got 5 years ahead of me right now with what I've got and what I want to get done. So my Star Wars Legion and my Imperial Assault, and I bought a new board game. Like, I want to say I bought a new board game 6 months ago. I haven't even taken it out of the cellophane. It's just like... It might be the last... The thing is, I really love board games. I just don't ever really find time to play board games. Pally! ATVs, what even... Well, here's the problem, Pally, is Eradicators have lost like a bunch of range, right? So Eradicators only have an 18-inch range now. So Eradicators are going to be... I don't know if we're going to be playing. I don't know if we're going to see much Eradicators. I do have a bunch of attack bikes that are painted with multi-meltas, but if like core and rerolls are gone, which we know that they sort of are, then the reason Invader ATVs were bad was, one, they didn't have core. I guess they couldn't be revived by a medic, but I don't even know how medics are going to work in the new edition. So, could Invader ATVs be useful? Maybe? I still got Land Speeders to paint from like buying them like I think I bought some Land Raiders like a year ago. I still got them to paint as well. Did I ever get Hero Quest painted up? Have you ever seen me painting any Hero Quest DTM? Is this a troll question? Literally any painting I'm doing is Blood Angels. All the time. I actually don't know where that new board game's gone. Yeah, I actually don't know where it's gone. It was sitting out for so long now. I don't know where it's gone. I mean, the things I can find easily is I've got a drop pod here. It's brand new in box. So add that to the list of painting. I've got Strike Force Augustus, brand new in box. I've still got half of a fucking Indomitus set, brand new in box. You're definitely worried about me. I need a year, like a whole year where I don't have any kids, I don't have any other responsibilities, I don't have a day job. Even then, I feel like it would be touch and go if I could finish all the Blood Angel stuff that I have. Even then. So there'd just be a year-long stream. Every single time you guys go to your computer for a year, I'd just be here, painting. and I'm still not there. So yeah, let's go back to Ian. He said he was going to send me his 3 Razorbacks. That's so kind of you, Ian. I'll send you my postal address. Flying Penguin has a huge pile of unpainted Blood Angels, so naturally he's working on some knights. There you go. See, this is why I don't even try and do the other stuff. Over the Christmas holidays, when I had my broken arm, I made 3 boxes of Star Wars Legion. Oh, I've got a funny story about the Star Wars Legion, actually. So I made 3 boxes. I made a squad of like 5 Rebel Alliance troopers, and I made 2 Tom-Toms, whoever those are, the things from Hoth. I think they're called Tom-Toms, or Tauntauns, if I'm saying that correctly. And I made... there was one other thing. I can't even remember. So I made those 3 units. I sprayed them white, because I typically spray stuff white when I'm painting it. And then they've been sat in this tin of this... I have a like Quality Street tin down there. They've been sat in the Quality Street tin since I sprayed them in December, or whenever the hell it was. Like, I could start an eBay store, yeah. It's May right now, right? May the 4th is a thing for Star Wars, and last May the 4th they had a deal, a bundle thing on Star Wars Legion where you could get a whole army, like the starter box and the whole army for $100. It was about $275 a model, so you could get it for $100 in the May the 4th. You see that box up there next to the Mephiston book, just to the left of it? That's the starter set for Star Wars Legion, and the whole army above it. None of it is opened. That's like a whole clone army. I mean, that's painting white, because clones are typically white, so that's going to be super slow. So yeah, I mean, I've got... If I ever finish my Blood Angels, I could paint my other board games for 10 years and probably still not finish them. When I retire from my day job in 25 years, I'm not gonna have to buy any models, but I might actually finish the ones I've got. How brilliant is that gonna be? Yeah, so it's just ridiculous. I don't know how I can. They're releasing a bunch of new Marines. I'm gonna have all of them, and then I think I'm gonna sell some of them on eBay. Like, I'm definitely gonna sell one of the Infernus squads. I don't think I need 2 of Infernus squads. I might even sell one of the squads of Terminators. Quite fancy doing 1 squad of the new Terminators, because the new Terminators do look really cool. I like the size of them. But I don't think I need 2 squads of them. I already got 3 squads of those Terminators. Like the Bolter, Power Fist, Chain Fist guys. And I guess one bunch of mine are already converted to Chain Fists, which are pretty good because these new ones are all going to be easy to build, right? So no Chain Fist options. It's a little sad. When you pass, can I have all your Warhammer stuff? I mean, I guess it'll be all brand new in sprue on boxes, right? I'll probably end up doing a bunch of it with contrast paints, honestly. I'll probably just maybe spray it white and just slap contrast paint right over it and like pick out 2 tiny little details or something on each piece. Because otherwise, like, I'm gonna want... I really want the Blood Angels. I want to win some tournaments with Blood Angels. I always want to win some tournaments with Blood Angels, but I'd like to do that a little bit more frequently than I did it in 9th edition. And one of the ways to win tournaments is to have a very good full roster of stuff, I guess. So, yeah. Painting Blood Angels is always what I'm working on. I'm selling my Relic Terminators. Oh, you're rebuilding them, you're not selling them so that they'll match the new ones. That's a cool idea. I don't know if I have time to rebuild any of my existing Terminators to be a bit taller, but it certainly sounds like a cool idea if you've got the time. I suppose you could use, like, tactical rocks to just push them up a bit, right? Robert's going to swap some NIDs for some Marines on launch day in Glasgow. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I think the Dreadnought will sell good, Robert, because if you look at Games Workshop right now, a Redemptor Dreadnought costs $45. So, like, if you can find someone to trade that Dreadnought, so you basically have 2 of those Dreadnoughts, then the 2 Dreadnoughts alone are like $90. The starter set isn't going to be that much. By the time you add the rules, the cards... You know, like the rulebook's $30, the cards are like $10, $15. So by the time you talk about 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts or 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, the cards and the rules, then that's your like $140 for the starter set, right? So like at that point, everything else in that set is kind of, it's not free, but essentially it's very good value for money, the starter set. This is probably why I still have Indomitus stuff left over, because the starter sets are so good, you're like, yeah, I definitely need to get a starter set and do some trades. And then you just end up with lots and lots and lots of stuff. And it's hard to catch up, or it's hard to finish up. I don't know. One of the best ways to get through the spray pile is to build it, spray it. I don't get... Build it, spray a scout out, 3 colours, basic science, playable and build from there. Yeah, like I have a lot of models that just have 3 colours on them so I can play them. Like a lot of models, like probably like 5,000 points. My issue is starting something new without finishing things that are in progress. So at the end of this edition, that's why I've managed to finish like 5 different units in the last like in the last 5 weeks, I've probably honestly finished 5 units completely, like transfers and everything, because I've just taken all the things that were like half done and been like, right, we're going into a new edition, let's just finish stuff. And that's what I'm doing with these Death Company. Like, I've taken these Death Company to a bunch of tournaments, because they obviously have more than 3 colours on them, they're based, but they just need like, hey, I just need to finish off the detail and then get some edge highlighting on them and they're done. And I can move on to, you know, another squad and get them done. So that's sort of my logic at the moment. But yeah, I have a... That's why I think I might be done buying board games or other games that require miniature assembly. Because I just don't know if I have time. But I definitely don't have time. I think I've proved that. And I could probably sell some of the other games. I think I'm going to do them with my kids, honestly. And I'm just going to accept that they're not going to be at the same standard as my Blood Angels. JP got his Primaris Dante today. Make me jealous, JP. Why don't you? I still don't have mine. Is anyone in Glasgow willing to trade their Nids for Marines? Good question. Have we got any viewers from Glasgow? Guys, if you're enjoying tonight's stream, please hit the like button. I have 57 people watching and we get 22 likes. So, I don't find that the miniature assembly actually takes all that long, right? Like, I find the assembly section for models is a fraction of the time it takes me for the painting. Like, I don't have a problem with assembling my own models. You know, you can do that while you're watching television or something, right? Like, assembly for me isn't a problem. It's painting them all to the exact same standard that takes me time. Yeah, I enjoy the assembly, and I think the cool thing about the assembly is that, like, once you have a lot of models, and that's the one good thing about, like, my pile of shame, is, like, I could go into that pile of shame and find all sorts of, like, little decals or little bits that will help me customize my models so that they don't look carbon copy to everybody else. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy the most, is like making my army mine. And yes, my army maybe doesn't fit 100% with the precise lore of the Blood Angels, but I mean, it does mean that if I ran into another Blood Angels player, like, our armies would be different, because, you know, I've painted some things in a specific way just because I like the colours, maybe not as much as I like the lore, if that makes sense. Not that I dislike the Blood Angels lore, I certainly don't. But I'll paint things the way I want to paint them because I think it's fun. Felix says I like the light grey shoulder pad on the Death Company. Yeah, it's actually Fenrisian grey. That's what I'm going to use to edge highlight the whole model. I've got one here actually that is edge highlight. I've got this one here, like the one finished guy. So I was gonna use this same grey to edge highlight the rest of them. And he has the same sort of like light grey shoulder pad. It's maybe a little bit brighter than some people, but like again, I just pick stuff that I think looks cool. Razorbacks are nice and cheap. Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question about 10th edition, is like, how cheap is armor? Not just like in terms of money, in terms of like how cheap is armor going to be in terms of points. Because if armor's cheap in terms of points, then every army is going to be like, right, I want 2 transports full of guys, maybe even 3, and armor can also hold objectives now because it's got like the OC value, so yeah, on 10th edition launch. Do you know what? We'll try and make sure on the day that 10th... Celestia Grey is the one that I use for the Sangre Guard wings. This is Fenrisian Grey that I use for edge highlighting on the Death Company. They're quite different. Fenrisian Grey is something like that. Celestia Grey is that. So there's quite a lot in it. This has got the Fenrisian one is the much more blue tone to it. On the day that 10th edition launches, we'll try and make sure that we have like a long live stream where we play a bunch of games with Blood Angels, and maybe we'll even do like one game as Strike Force Gladiatus, that's what it's called, so we can get sort of a feel for the 2 different strike forces. JT Money says his 3D printer has been very busy. Fair. You got any cool SDLs for the new edition, JT? Nathan has been tempted to build the Imperium subscription. I've never subscribed to the Imperium magazine just because I think it's a step too far. I got so much stuff already. Dante's been delayed to the 13th, to the 15th. Yeah, I saw him today. My Dante looks like he's been delayed to the 15th as well. At this point, I kind of given up getting him this month. I'm just like, I guess I'll get him when I get him, right? Like, it's just become, I don't want to say ridiculous, but like, it's just become really, it is what it is, I guess. There's nothing we can do about it. Dante will come when he's gonna come. There's no point me getting upset about it any longer. Okay. Nathan's treating Dante as a welcome surprise. I think that's how I'm treating him as well, Nathan. When the shipping note comes, it'll be something to look forward to. I don't know when the hell he's coming. I've seen so many brilliant paint jobs of them on YouTube and on like Twitter, so I'll do a bang average paint job of them and I'll make a video about it. So if you're waiting for the bang average Dante painting video, don't worry, I got you covered. As long as I get him a little bit before 10th, right? This is the problem with playing with half-used models at tournaments, is like every time I've picked this guy up, like the oils in my fingers have been rubbing the paint off some of the hard edges, so I gotta touch a few bits back up. I guess this is one of the reasons that I've been taking a little bit of a break from army games for a little while as well at the end of this edition, just to try and get some stuff finished that needs to be finished. I don't want to have to keep repainting bits of it. So what's everyone working on tonight? Are you guys all working on stuff for 10th edition? Is anyone actually working on Blade Guard Veterans, or am I the only person that thinks Blade Guard Veterans are going to be really good? I'm probably going to buy this extra set of Blade Guard Veterans, and then I'll be the only person that bought 12 Blade Guard Veterans, and people will be like, NGL. What does NGL mean? Okay, cool. A few people are finishing Blade Guard Veterans. Sauce Dude says, hey Sauce Dude, nice to see you back. Sauce Dude says they're his absolute favourite unit. Interesting. I mean, I love the way they look. I sort of took inspiration off the box art with the white shields and thought they reminded me of a lot of like Crusaders, I guess. I guess they maybe fit slightly better for Black Templars, but I really like them in Blood Angel's Force. Okay, Nathan's converting Zitrix Guard to Blade Guards. Reziel's running them. Okay, not gonna lie. Okay. Toasty can't wait to get his Blade Guard Russian out of a Land Raider. Alright, cool. I'm not the only one. Yes, I can't wait. That's why I want 12 of them. Like, I want to fill the Land Raider with Blade Guard. If the Crusader can take 16, then I think I want 3 squads of 4, so that'll be 12. And then let's get a character attached to each squad of Blade Guard. So we get 3 squads of like 5 Blade Guard. Maybe 2 of them could have like Blade Guard Lieutenants, maybe 1 could have an Ancient, maybe there could even be Judiciar in there. I don't know. That's... Someone asked earlier, Foz was it? What I'm excited to run in 10th edition. I mean, you could run Blade Guard in 9th edition. I ran loads of Blade Guard in 9th edition, all the way through the edition. I like them a lot. But maybe running 12 of them in a Land Raider or something I'm excited to run in 10th, right? I actually don't own any of the... Considering how much stuff I've talked about owning on this stream, I don't own any... That's the mad thing about the hobby to me, is like there's so many kits that I actually don't own. Even though I've got this giant army and I've got such a big backlog, there's still a boatload of kits that I don't own, which is kind of blows my mind. But anyway, I don't own the Blade Guard kit, the customizable Blade Guard kit. Like I just have the easy to build kit from the Indominus. I just have like 3 of those easy to build kits. Felix said he was Poninator. Thanks so much for hanging out. You have a good one as well, sir. Felix said he was thinking about Vanguard Vets, but he's probably going to hold off. I think with the Vanguard Vets, Felix, we're gonna need to see weapon options, because it looks like Lightning Claws have just been hit with a nerf. Fortunately, I made a lot of my Blade Guard veterans before Lightning Claws were meta, so I have like a bunch with Power Fists, a bunch with Thunder Hammers, a bunch with Chain Swords, and then just a few with Lightning Claw Storm Shields. But it does seem like that's gonna have been nerfed a bit. It's crazy expensive for the 3 models. How much is 3 Blade Guard veterans? I thought they were just like, well, I mean, yeah, maybe they are quite expensive, I suppose, if you compare them to a squad of Terminators. I think they were like £27 in the UK. It seemed like Twin Lightning Claw could be good. It did seem like Twin Lightning Claw could be good, but the strength of Lightning Claw was to just take a single Lightning Claw, right? So like if a single Lightning Claw isn't twin linked, and it's strength 5 minus 1 damage, then I guess it's just bang. It's kind of just the same as a power sword at that point, right? So if it's more expensive than a power sword, then you'd be better just taking a power sword. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. $60? Okay. The messed up thing though right now is the pound to dollar conversion is bad, like really bad. So I don't know how that affects the, like, there was a time like 5 years ago where pounds to dollars was really strong. So like £1 was like 1.6, 1.7 dollars, whereas now like a pound's like 1.2, 1.3. That's not the Americans' fault. That's our fault. People in Britain are idiots, and we voted for Brexit because we thought it would be a good idea. For the record, I did not vote for that shit. But yeah, so we tanked our own currency. We're literally the only country in the history of the world that's tanked our own currency. So I don't know if that means that you guys have to pay more because we ruined our own currency, but it sounds like it. Yeah, sorry for that. Us people in Britain are idiots. Tell us how you really feel. Yeah, I know I'm bitter about that because I used to love going on I used to go on holiday to America all the time. Like, it was my go-to holiday. And it was always great because basically you converted your money you got a great exchange rate. You know, like if I was having dinner for $50, it was costing me like $30. So like, you know, it was brilliant for us going to go on holiday to America. And then it was like, oh, now we've managed to destroy our own currency. It's really, I mean, it's fine, but it was much better when it was when the pound was really strong, right? Chrono saying is starting on the Star Wars Shatterpoint stuff. Do you know what? I've seen the Star Wars Shatterpoint, Chrono saying, and I think it's fucking awesome. That's how I really feel about it. Like, basically, if no one's seen it, what Star Wars Legion is Star Wars Legion is 40k, but Star Wars, and you play 800 point games, right? So like, you know, 800 points in Star Wars Legion is like you would get 2 squads of stormtroopers, Darth Vader, maybe a couple of guys on those bikes from Endor, like the speeder bikes, and then like maybe like one other character or one other piece of heavy support. That's an 800 point list. That's what Star Wars Legion is. It's actually fun. The size of the models are a bit smaller than 40k, but then what they've done is they've just announced, or they've just released maybe today, I didn't realise it was out, I knew it was coming out soon, Star Wars Shatterpoint, which is a skirmish game with bigger models. So imagine like all the Star Wars models you know and love, they're on a much bigger scale, like maybe like 50mm bases, and Shatterpoint is skirmish, so it's like kill team, so you're only painting like 5 guys, and it looks super awesome. I don't know too much more about it. I was really interested in it when they first announced it, but I guess I've just got too many other painting projects on the go to realistically even consider buying it or using it. But if you've got time for it, Shatterpoint looks awesome. I'm jealous. Maybe one day in the far future I will check out Shatterpoint, but it does look cool. I would love to sit down and paint all the models. You can get like the Darth Maul characters, and I was going to say there's something else you can. Yeah, you can get the Separatists. Or I think is it based around Clone Wars? It looks cool, man. It was expensive. The starter box like $170. So I think it's quite an expensive game, but you probably get quite a lot of models as well. It also comes with terrain because it's like a kill team type game. So if you ever wanted to play kill team Star Wars, then check out Shatterpoint. If I didn't have so much damn Blood Angels and other 40k commitments and other unpainted miniatures, I'd be checking it out. And I think that's what I said earlier in the stream, like I think I'm at the point where like I just can't justify buying any other games anymore, because when the hell am I actually going to get to them, and when the hell am I actually going to paint them? Warhammer was talking that there are only 4 armies you can do below $500 US. Is that how much it costs for an army in the US now? It's a big investment to get started. That's why I think a lot of people will start with those starter box. Like, if you can find someone to trade your half of the starter box, then you can get started like much cheaper. And that's why can't wait until John gets it free for winning a tournament. I got that Battletech box free for winning a tournament. Look, it's still in its fucking cellophane. It's got miniatures inside. I think I got something. Yeah, no, I did get something. I got a Star Wars Legion model for coming. No, I won the Battletech box for best sportsmanship. Did I sell my Thousand Suns? No, they're in a box that I haven't looked at in like a year. I won. I don't even. There it is. Look. This is the Legion model I won in that tournament. Look, it's in its cellophane as well. This is a LAAT light transport. It kind of looks like a star. It kind of looks like a TIE fighter, but takes models. Let me put it under there. You see that? Looks like a TIE fighter, but like there's guys inside it. I didn't even know where that was. It's just gone into the pile of shame. Yeah, channel give. Yeah, you're not wrong. What's funny is I actually have I have Legion models, and I have an Imperial Army. Like, the Imperial Army is the army that I'm most furthest on with. In terms of, like, I painted all the Stormtroopers. But yeah, Shatterpoint looks cool. If I won like a Shatterpoint starter set of like one squad of guys, like Darth Maul plus, I don't even know who Darth Maul's lackeys are. It's been a while since I watched Clone Wars, but if I won like Darth Maul plus a few of his lackeys, maybe. Antonius is about to start the Thousand Sun Battle Box. I would like to do the Thousand Suns. It's just time, guys. Just time. I think any time I get close to finishing all the Blood Angels I've got, they're going to release new Blood Angels, aren't they? I think the thing I need to buy next is a Vortex Mixer. Because I've seen like people showing those off on YouTube and online, and they take like your old crappy gunky paints and make them really what do? They make them pretty. They mix them really well. Like it just like shakes them like batshit crazy. Like look at the state of this paint. Look how gunky that is in there. I don't even know if any amount of shaking that would get that back to a consistent texture. You just have to take it out of the palette, put it on the pot, and mix it until it's the best. I'd be down for a Sage Ventress. Yeah, I like some of those. Yeah, like maybe it's a little. I mean, it's still gunky, but like maybe there's a bit that's savable within this pot. I probably have another pot of this, to be honest. I usually make sure I've got an extra pot of everything, but don't buy a mixer, just buy a kiddie's washing machine. Is that a thing? Like a kid's washing machine that spins? What, and you just put the paint pots inside? How much does that cost? I like doing things with crappy hobby tools, so I would buy that if that's the thing. Because I know maybe at this point it's almost a running joke that I just use shitty hobby tools. My point, I think, is just that you can do this without having to spend hundreds of pounds on hobby tools. I know some people get very... I'm going to probably turn people off by saying this, because some people love their expensive hobby tools, but I mean... I just like doing stuff with cheap and cheerful. Alright, sod off. I need you to link me in Discord a kid's washing machine. I need to see this. Hopefully Sangreguard on the same base. If they did move Sangreguard up to 40s, you can buy base extenders to make your models work on larger bases. In fact... some of the Death Company I've been painting tonight are on base extenders. Let me show you. You wouldn't have, like, you probably didn't even notice that they were on base extenders. It'll save you a lot of time and hassle as well, and probably save you some money. So, let me see. Yeah, the Finnish guy that I had out earlier. This guy, he's on a base extender. So you can see in his base, if you look very closely, there's a ring. You can see the ring? So like, his base is inside a base extender, and these are like slot fit base extenders. So you just take his old base, you just slot it straight in, and then I fill it with green stuff, like liquid green stuff, and then just texture paint right over the top of it. So if you have these guys lined up in a squad, like on the tabletop, like this, I honestly think, unless you're absolutely looking for the base extender, you're not going to see it. I mean, you're looking for it now, you can see it, right? But at different angles, you might not see it so much. I think it's fine. Is this safety ring? Yeah, pretty much. Google Kid Connection washing machine. And you just fire your paints into that. He could soon be double extended. Why, you think jump units will go into 40s? I mean, he could be double extended, I suppose. Good night, David. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's a ring in the dirt. Yeah, I mean, if you can't, like, my thought was I didn't want to have to pull all my guys off their existing bases, and I was just looking for a cheap and cheerful option. And it works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you. I get that. I have heartburn tonight, man. Don't often get heartburn. Night, Alex. Thomas is in here 1 hour 50 minutes after the stream has started, Thomas, to ask what do we think of the new Thunderhammer? That was a bit mean, I suppose. Let me tell you, Thomas, few people have asked what do we think of the new Thunderhammer. What we think is I don't know. I think it's hard to tell, right? Because it's going to do 2 mortal wounds every 6 now, and wounds are going to be very good. Like, typically when you're hitting things with the Thunderhammers, you're going after the hardest hitting enemies or the most durable enemies. Normally they have a 4-up save, so maybe going straight through with mortals is actually going to be like not significantly worse, but I guess there's a lot we don't know yet. I'm painting Thunderhammer guys right now, so I'm not knee-jerking reaction. I'm not running to be like, oh my god, we can't do Thunderhammer guys anymore. It does make me wonder if Power Fist Infernal Pistol guys are going to be really good, right? Good evening, Campbell. And if Power Fist Infernal Pistol guys are going to be like really strong and really powerful now, is that going to be like one of the best options for melee? Then Blood Angels literally have the best unit in the game, I think, for fielding an Infernal Pistol and a Power Fist, right? In the Sandguard. So there's a chance that, yes, Death Company with hammers might be less important, maybe. But you could also argue that, like, maybe Sandguard will just... I mean, Sandguard always seem to go back and forth, don't they? It's like one patch they're good, next patch they're not good, next patch they're overcosted, next patch they're too cheap. Like, I feel like the Games Workshop can't balance the Sandguard. Like, they went... Every variation, swings and roundabouts they could have done in 9th edition, they did, right? There were 32 points per model, there were 30 points per model, they had free war gear, they didn't have free war gear, they had Armor of Contempt, they didn't have Armor of Contempt, like... Yeah, like Sangregard went back and forth like 5 times, it feels like, in 9th. So, I guess one question is, who knows what will happen with Thunderhammers? Will they stay like this? But I think they'll be fine. I think we'll still see some Thunderhammers, and I think that the mortals that they can do in some situations might be kind of interesting. It might depend on rerolls as well. Like, if we can get shitloads of rerolls, if we can get rerolls on our wounds, then mortals on, or 2 mortals on 6s becomes pretty interesting, right? If we can't reroll wounds and we can't get like Savage Echoes or the likes of something similar, then maybe it becomes less interesting. But there's a lot of questions there. Games Workshop can't seem to balance the things. Yeah, we had chatted about it, Thomas. Yeah, I'm in a funny mood now because I've got heartburn and I don't know. I guess there's gonna be, like, because I haven't been making tactics videos yet, there's gonna be a bunch of the same questions coming up. So I guess I'm just gonna have to wait on those, and like as soon as we have like full codexes and full data sheets and stuff, I will make tactics video and everything. Robert, thanks so much for hanging out tonight. It was nice to see you. DTM says the new Thunderhammer is fine. Still the best melee weapon versus the very toughest targets, which is where the Thunderhammers come in. Why do you think it's still the best weapon, DTM? Because of the mortals or because of something else? Hey Marius, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's gonna be my goal of 6 new members this month. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that, dude. How are you, by the way? Welcome. Please try and get into our Discord. We've got members only Discord room. You're more than welcome. Well, now you're a channel member, you're more than welcome in there. I forgot what I was doing. Got distracted by the membership. Yes, I'm doing Brass Scorpion. Okay. I'm basically painting every other part of these models except the edge highlighting because I don't know. Because I'm scared of starting the edge highlighting, or because I don't want to start the edge highlighting, or a combination of them both probably. I don't dislike edge highlighting Death Company, but I always make lots of mistakes, like lots of mistakes, and it's painstaking going back and forth. So I think my plan for tonight is to get every other bit of the model of these, because I'm doing 5 Death Company. The plan is just to get all the other bits painted, and then next session do all edge highlighting. Or, I mean, maybe it'll be 2 sessions for edge highlighting, because it'll probably take me 1 session to the edge highlighting and 1 session to tidy up all the mistakes that I've made. Very particular with my edge highlighting. Yes, once you're in Discord, if you link your YouTube account, I was going to say, if you link your YouTube account to your Discord, then it should automatically pop you into our members only room. So yeah, the question Foz asked me earlier was like, what unit am I most excited to play in 10th edition? And I think because I keep thinking about it, I think it's going to be like a boatload of Blade Guard inside transports. Probably like, as much as I feel like the Land Raider Crusader isn't going to be the best transport, because the Land Raider Crusader obviously does a lot of anti-infantry firepower, and I think you're going to want your transports to have anti-vehicle firepower, at least in a conventional sense. Maybe that'll be different for Blood Angels because you get the +1. You might, I don't know if we'll still get +1 to wound, but you might still get something that makes us very good at wounding transports. So maybe the Land Raider Crusader will get some play for Blood Angels, so maybe the regular Land Raider will be better. But the thing I think I am most excited about is just saying, like, you know, you're deploying your army against your opponent and be like, so what have you got in your transports, or what have you got in your strategic reserves? It'll be like, right, well, I've got 16 Blade Guard veterans in my Land Raider with 2 lieutenants and a captain. And they'll be like, you've got what in your Land Raider? Yes, 16 Blade Guard, you heard that right. And then they'll be like, instantly, like, okay, I've got to deal with that Land Raider pretty fucking quickly, or I've got 16 Blade Guard veterans in my deployment zone in turn 2, probably chopping up everything that I own. And I think that's gonna be the most fun. I just can't imagine it. Like, I know we could put Death Company Intercessors in Land Raiders too, but I've just never been that excited about Death Company Intercessors. I mean, they do get a boatload of chainsword attacks. Like at least in this edition, it was like 7 chainsword attacks per guy. So, you know, you could chop up a lot of stuff with just a small squad of them. Hello Margot, good evening. Hope you're well. Jim says, Sangre Guard led by Dante out of a Land Raider or Death Company led by a Jump Chaplain makes me happy. Do you think Lamarta is an Astrath? Morgo's painting up Shatterpoint as well. Morgo, I'm jealous. What army are you painting up in Shatterpoint first? Or what, it's not really armies, is it? It's like skirmish forces or something. What are they called? Strike forces? Skirmish forces? I like the look of Shatterpoint. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I think at the moment though, I can't justify buying any more new board games as much as I like the look of new ones. The last like 4 or 5 that I've bought, I just have done no painting on whatsoever. And I've got no ETA for even starting any of the painting on them because my Blood Angels backlog is just too damn big. So as much as I like the look of some of those new board games, I guess where I stand at the moment is I'm not buying more board games. You're sacrificing the new 10th edition box. No! No! You're starting with Ahsoka and the Mandalorians. I mean, okay, Ahsoka and Mandalorians is pretty cool though, I guess. It's not... I was going to say, it is cool. It's not cool enough for me to sacrifice my 10th edition box. But yeah, I'd love to see some photos actually. Do you have any advice for getting to the Scottish tournament scene? You're around Grampian, I remember. Probably, actually, I can give some advice. Yes, I am in the north of Scotland. I think the best place, or the place you probably want to be in terms of where you want to be, well, do you know what? Maybe not just that, is there's Brewhammer, which is near Ellon, which is near Aberdeen, and Brewhammer is a pretty big event, and I think they do that twice a year. It's the one that they do at the Brewdog Distillery, and I think it's about a 40-person GT. I've never been to Brewdog in Ellon. I've been to Brewdog elsewhere, just not the one in Ellon. But I know the guy that runs the Brewhammer GT. He's actually the cousin of one of the guys that plays on my stream all the time. And he's a really sound guy. And like, I guess if you're looking to get in casually and start somewhere, that could be an option. I was going to say, I think the best option for the Scottish scene, though, is probably the guys... I think the place is called Common Ground Games in Stirling. I can probably put you in touch with a few of the people that go there because I've got them on my Facebook. And they include some of they include some of the Team Scotland players, so like the best players in all of Scotland. And the guy who's captain of Team Scotland actually just won the Warhammer Fest GT tournament. So like they're very high skilled, and you would learn a lot if you played against them. You'd probably get beat a lot to begin with, but you don't get better playing against noobs. You have to play people that are better than you to get better, right? So depends on where you at. Where are you at? What part of Scotland are you at, Marius? Jocelyn says, I hope the Heavy Laser Destroyer and the Repulsor Executioner should prevent some of the turn 1 shenanigans. You mean in terms of being charged? I hope you would be the most qualified to give advice on the Scottish scene. I'm fairly qualified. So the guy who just won Warhammer Fest, Innes, I played him once in 9th edition Reziel. He's the captain of Team Scotland, and I beat him. At that event, he won every single other game that he played, but I was his one loss. So, I don't know if that's a claim to fame, but I tell you, it felt pretty good. It's going to be hard to lie about that. I was like, I'm playing the captain of Team Scotland. He's beating everybody, but he will not beat the Blood Angels. And what's even better is that I was running a janky list that had a Tech Marine and like 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and only 1 squad of Sangre Guard. I think honestly he just didn't know what the fuck my list did. Which is why he lost. He probably lined up thinking I'm going to play Blood Angels, and then he just was like, what the fuck is this? Like Redemptors and Tech Marines and Blade Guards. But I mean, I won the game like 95 points, so I'll take it. Did I lift my kill and laugh? I probably should have. No, I think genuinely he was a very good player. I think there was a little bit of luck, maybe, like, but I mean, sometimes you got to ride your luck in 40k, right? Sometimes that happens. It's my brand new, but my goal is intent to at least enter some proper tournaments if you're just south of Aberdeen. Yeah, so well then Ellen is just north of Aberdeen, and Brewdog is the tournament in Brewdog. The guy who runs it, Stephen, is a great guy. That'll be a good place to start. There is smaller RTTs running around, like there's RTTs that run in Elgin quite often, which I guess is like an hour north of Aberdeen. I know that there's smaller RTTs run at the Games Workshop in Aberdeen as well, because I was actually, at the end of this edition, I have this list at the moment that has Gilliman in it, and I absolutely love the list. It's kind of janky, but it's also just a really fun list. And I really wanted to go to another tournament, even though like my wife said to me, like, because I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, she was like, I really need your help at the moment, could you just stop going to tournaments for a little while? And it was one of the reasons I hadn't played quite so many games on the channel as well. Like, bedtimes have just been a bit of a nightmare for the last 2 months or something, so I was helping my wife out a little bit with bedtimes as well. I was looking at the the Warhammer shop in Aberdeen to see what tournaments they do, because I was like, I really just want to go to another tournament, even if it's just like a day's tournament. So Aberdeen's, they do small, like 16-man RTTs, and then the way they do it, I guess, because their shop's only big enough to have 16, is like if you finish top 8, then you will go, and so basically they do 2 16-mans, and the top 8 from each 16-man go into like a final tournament. So that'd be a great place to start as well. I might still try and go to one of the Aberdeen tournament, one of the tournaments in the Aberdeen shop, because every time I've been in the Aberdeen shop, I guess the guy knows me from my channel, and he's like super nice to me. And we did some work, like the company I work with in my day job, we did some work for Games Workshop before. So I had some flyers that like handed out in the Aberdeen store before. So I do kind of want to just go to an Aberdeen tournament or whatnot as well. But the ones in Stirling are the biggest ones in Scotland. The venue in Stirling is really good. They must be able to take about 50 people. It's got like, they do lunches and all that sort of nonsense, and it's like 5 minutes walk from the Travel Lodge as well, so you can easily get a hotel nice and cheap if it's a 2-day event. Yes, Stirling, Bathgate. Oh, do you know what? There's a new venue in Dundee as well that are running tournaments. I haven't been to the venue in Dundee, but I have seen people advertising it, and I know Andrew went to one of the one-day events in Dundee. He said it was pretty good as well. So there's more centrally than there is in the north, which would make sense, right? Because there's more population in the central. What was he playing? Innes plays all sorts of things. He won Warhammer Fest playing Iron Hands. When I played him, he was running I think it was Nurgle Demons with a sprinkling of Zinch, because I'm pretty sure he had like, I'm like 90% sure he had Arman. So I think it was normal. That was it. I'm sure it was Nurgle Demons with a sprinkling of Thousand Suns on top, and it had like a lot of mortal wound output. But I was running a list that had like Soul Warden, and I honestly think Soul Warden is one of the best ways to counter things like that, right? Like the mortal wound protection from Soul Warden is really good. Like, that's why I ran Soul Warden to a lot of events, even when people were saying like, you probably don't need to be running Soul Warden. And I was like, yeah, I know I probably don't, but when you come into a matchup where, you know, you've got an enemy that's throwing out a lot of mortal wounds, and you're like, everything in a big bubble of stuff is just going to be like, well, I got 5-up shrug against mortals, it can certainly be worth its weight in gold. Yeah, I think that's the tournament I was looking at, Marius, the send-off for 10th edition. Innes sweat through most of us at War in the Winter this year. Chaos Demons with Flamers. I mean, if you played them before the Flamers got nerfed, dude. I played a tournament against Chaos Demons where the guy had Flamers, and like, because I always run the Whirlwind combo, it's just habit to cast what is it? It's just because I always run the Whirlwind. It's like muscle memory. I always cast Suppression Fire, right? So I suppressed like a squad of Flamers and charged them and killed them, and then like later in the game, I charged another squad of Flamers without suppressing them, and basically just lost the whole squad. And I was like, holy crap! Like, those guys get, what is it, D6 plus 3 auto hits per guy or something? And I was like, they're only 25 points a model. And he's like, yeah, that's the rules. I was like, holy shit, I'm glad I suppressed fired the other guys. I was actually like 50-50 if I needed to waste the suppression fire on them, because I was like, well, I'm probably going to kill all of them in combat, so probably don't need to suppress them, because I only need a few guys to live, and then I'll kill them with what's left. It's like, I'm bloody glad that I suppressed them, because if I didn't, I'd have literally lost my whole squad on the charge. Like, Flamers, man. Yeah, I'm 100% confident that the next time I play Innes, he will beat me. But at the moment, I am 100% against him. But it's like, like I'm 100% against him, because I've only played him once, and I'm now hiding behind a wall where he can't see me. I'm going to let Eradicators introduce the Blade Guard when they jump out the Land Raider. You know, I hadn't really considered Eradicators in the Land Raider. I think the thing that I'd considered the most, in terms of like heavy firepower, was like, I'd actually been thinking about like Devastators, right? Like multi-melta Devastators inside an Impulsor, because I was like, well, the Impulsor, we don't know the firing deck rule for the Impulsor yet, right? But the Impulsor has an open top. So I was thinking, like, you're probably going to get quite a lot of firing deck. Like, that firing deck rule for an Impulsor is going to be like firing deck 5 or something, right? Surely, like, 5 guys can fire out the back of an Impulsor, something like that. So I was thinking, like, Impulsor with firing deck could be pretty useful. But then it was like, somebody said to me yesterday, they were like, are you going to be doing Eliminators in an Impulsor? And I was like, huh. I actually hadn't really thought about Eliminators in an Impulsor. But when you think about it, and I guess they've got a 2-up to hit, and you could fit 2 squads of 3, I think, because the Impulsor carries 6, right? So I was like, huh, I hadn't thought of Eliminators in an Impulsor, but when you mention it like that, it actually sounds like it could be pretty decent. Has anyone thought of Eliminators in an Impulsor? I mean, Las Fusel Eliminators. I don't really care much for the Bolt Sniper Rifle Eliminators. I guess if you're maybe another faction, you could snipe. But I think with Blood Angels, it's the Las Fusel ones that are attractive to me, right? Oh, how come you can't make it to your GT, Morgo? Steve's getting ready for a GT in Kansas City. Good luck, Steve. What are you running? Full jump stuff, or are you putting some durable units into your list? Could you put a Dreadnought in a Land Raider? No, but you can put a Dreadnought in a Storm Raven, but not typically one of the new Primaris ones. I think the limit is that they have to be under 9 wounds? Or maybe it's under, I think it's 9 or less wounds. Panda Pete. I'm new to the hobby, but I'm about to start Blood Angels, my second army. My first is mono Khorne Demons. Guess I like just charging melee. It sounds like it, Panda Pete. How are you, by the way? I think you were in a stream before. The name rings a bell. Hello and welcome back. Blood Angels are cooler than Khorne Demons, just saying though. I've run multiple Las Fusel units and their offense is disappointing. Yeah, I suppose it depends if they keep the flat 3 damage res. And I suppose it also depends on if they keep their -2 AP. So who knows? I suppose it depends. It depends. A tactical squad with multi-meltas in an impulsor does sound like it could be good, though. I suppose it's really going to depend on... I think the firing deck for the impulsor is going to be pretty high. Like, I'm expecting firing deck like... Well, with a Devastator squad, you'd only need firing deck 4 and every single model could shoot. Or every single model that has a heavy weapon could shoot. And that's maybe all you need. I suppose it's also going to come down to points costs as well, though, because everything's going to come down to points costs, isn't it? Jim thinks suppressors are going to be awesome. I mean, I guess we'll reserve judgment. I think I actually have 6 suppressors. Do you know what? I think I have 6 suppressors, and they're horrifically unpainted because they're another model that I thought was going to be awesome, and I made sure I had a couple of squads of them. I think I maybe even bought a squad of suppressors from eBay. Like, got one with the Vanguard box and bought another from eBay because I'm an idiot and thought they were going to be good. We haven't seen yeah, there's so many data sheets that were in a weird place in 9th edition, so hopefully a lot of those data sheets that just were bad or the units never got played. I really hope that they've really reinvented the wheel, so to speak, right? Because that's what it sort of felt was weird about the 8th Codex for Blood Angels in 9th edition. Felt like it was like, to me it felt like an 8.5 Codex. Right, I've been live almost 2.5 hours. I'm going to do like 15 minutes more, guys, and then I'm going to call it a night. I probably need to spend a little bit of time with my wife tonight. Yeah, so if you have any final questions... Oh, shit. Let's not hit the camera. If you have any final questions on 10th, let's hear them in the next 10 minutes or whatnot. Otherwise, you will have to wait until next stream. Next stream might be tomorrow night. I'm just painting like a crazy idiot at the moment to try and get things finished for... So if you want to see me tomorrow night be stressed about edge highlighting these guys, because I think these guys are like... The only reason to not start the edge highlighting tonight, I think, is because we're wrapping up in like 15 minutes. I'm pretty much ready to start the edge highlighting. Could do some washes, but honestly I'll probably just do the edge highlighting first and then the washes afterwards. Pete says, I've been reading a lot of lore and I kind of agree. I love Blood Angels and Vampires and Blood Angels inventory. You also have long blonde hair. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's perfect. It's a match made in heaven, Pete. Welcome to the channel. You know we've got a Discord. You're more than welcome to join. Just type !Discord in the chat if you want to join and talk to all these... Like, when I'm not online, if you want to chat to everybody else. Steve's running Templars till 10th edition. That's fine, Steve. I ran some Templars. Although Blood Angels are my main love, I ran some Templars this edition. I bought Grimaldus and Helbrecht this edition. Never ran them to a tournament. I thought I might run them to a tournament, but I never did. It was either going to be Helbrecht or run the Blood Angels Guilliman list, and I really love that Blood Angels Guilliman list. It's so much fun. I kind of hope that Guilliman stays as a viable option for Blood Angels to continue to run, because I never really played 40k before when I had a big monster on the table, and Guilliman felt like a big monster to me, and I was always jealous of like other people running big monsters. Guilliman felt like a big monster, and he definitely did Like there was a few turns when I used him in combat where he just ate my enemy alive in a single turn, and I was like, oh my god, this is fun. How much fun? How have I been missing out on having a giant monster that just eats people? Templars get a lot of love and everybody loves Blood Angels. What the other melee chapters? Yeah, I mean, Blood Angels I think are one of the biggest Marine chapters, if not, I think they might have overtaken Ultramarines in terms of popularity in the recent years. Flesh Tearers are cool too, yeah. Did you know that there was a Flesh Tearers list at Warhammer Fest that had 3 Brutalises in it? I'm going to be diving into it this week for my weekly tactics video. I just thought it was, when I heard about it, I was like, oh my god, there's a Flesh Tearers list that went 5-1 and had 3 Brutalises in it. I gotta check this list out. Cool list, by the way. Cries and Space Wolves. Space Wolves are good though. I mean, they were good in 9th edition. It's so much fight last. I fought Space Wolves in a tournament where the winner won the tournament, and I got beat because of the amount of fight last shenanigans they had. And I was a little bit disappointed I didn't have more experience against Space Wolves, because I feel like if I'd known a little bit more, I could have won the game. But at the same time, I was kind of blown away by the amount of fight last that they had. They had like three ways to fight last, and one of them didn't even need line of sight, which was the one that I think that really surprised me and caught me out and kind of... Well, I mean, I don't know if I was winning the game anyway, but it was a tough list to play against. Space Wolves have not been bad, I feel like, this edition. Space Wolves have won a bunch of tournaments in Arcs of Omen as well, with all the free Melta spam they were able to take. I know that for a fact. Blood Angels the 5th more popular, behind Black... Nah, we're not behind Black Templars. No way. There's no way more Black Templar players than Blood Angels. No way, I don't buy it. 100% don't buy it. I don't think there's more Dark Angels players than Blood Angels, honestly. Alright, so this guy, yeah, he's not quite there yet. In terms of, like, yeah, okay. Alright, so we have to finish this guy off tomorrow, maybe, and then we can do Edge Highlight. This guy's fallen from the Sanguinary Guard, obviously. He was in the Sanguinary Guard, he was also in the Death Watch, and now he is, now he's in the Death Company. A long way, you can fall a long way apparently in Blood Angels, all the way from the Death Watch down into the Death Company. How about it? The last time I saw any real stats showed Blood Angels as the most popular faction. That's the stats I saw. They showed a poll on the Warhammer community site, like, it's probably 18 months to 2 years ago now, but they showed a poll where Blood Angels were even more popular than Ultramarines in terms of like the Space Marine chapter breakdown. It was close between Ultras and Marines. You're talking in Blood Angels, you're talking like a few percent. But like we'd basically just finally, maybe after many years, become more popular than Ultramarines. That's why I was a little surprised that like we didn't get that's why I was surprised that like we haven't had a box, like an edition box, like this new box that's coming out that's more focused on Blood Angels, like the new box being focused on the new I guess like Strike Force Augustus and Leviathan. If there was ever a time to focus a starter set on Blood Angels, it would have been Leviathan, in that like we have the book Devastation of Baal that is all about Leviathan. We were on the front lines doing the killing or whatever, or keeping humanity alive, keeping Leviathan at bay. Like we did all that. Like, So if there was ever a book, if there was ever a time to do a starter edition about that, I feel like it would have been now. But I guess now we're waiting for maybe a jump pack or a range refresh or something. You never want to be the most popular, then you get all the haters. I feel like Ultramarines get all the haters anyway. It's because they've been the poster childs for the longest time, right, Rez? So I feel like they're getting it whether we are the most popular or not anyway, so... It's Sod's Law though. Here's me finally finishing my first squad completely of 5 Hammer guys, Hammer Death Company. I've been running these guys honestly for about a year at this point. But I'm finally finishing the paint job on 5 of them. I'm going to make them... Sorry, I'm going to edge highlight them, then transfer them, then spray them with varnish in the next week or so. And then what will happen is... they'll get made legends. No, I don't think they'll get made legends. I think they will. I think that probably for some reason or whatnot, I'll probably like end up not running them anymore, and they will be a completed unit that sits for the maybe like 1 edition. I was gonna say because like I used to run aggressors all the time, right? Aggressors were like one of my favorite units in 8th edition. I feel like ran them all the time, and then. Aggressors rules in 9th edition were very lackluster. They lost a lot of their power because they used to be able to like advance and charge. Sorry, not advance and charge. They used to be able to advance and shoot without taking the -1 to hit their assault weapons. They used to be able to shoot twice if you stood still. They were just a very versatile unit that like rewarded good play because like if we need jump packs bad, we do, yes. If you knew that you could position them where they didn't have to move, and then you knew that by not moving, each guy gets 12 bolter rounds and 2d6 grenades, which I guess on average was about 20 shots. So you basically got like 60 strength 4 shots from 3 guys if you didn't move them. So I feel like it rewarded like clever play where you could position them where they didn't need to be moved, and didn't have the longest range, like 18-inch, but I loved aggressors. I feel like units like that, where there's like ability you can use, where a top level player can use it, whereas like some average person maybe can't. I like models like that, or I like units that have abilities like that reward clever play. So aggressors were one of my favourite units in 8th edition. Ran them all the time. 9th edition came out. They went on my shelf for finished models, and I think I never ran them once in 9th edition, not once. I ran Centurions a couple of times. Maybe if I didn't have any Centurions I would have ran aggressors, but I just didn't run them at all, which is sad when you've got a unit that you like but you just aren't running. But I mean, I guess that's the way that some things go, so this is probably the way that these Death Company Hammers are going to go. We're gonna maybe see a change in people's lust for Thunderhammers or liking of Thunderhammers, who knows. But on the plus side, if aggressors are toughness 6, then I mean I'll probably be running aggressors again. And that's why I always say that like even if you get disillusioned with a unit, if you've got it 3/4 painted, you should probably just finish it, because there is a time in the meta, like there will be a time where it's like, hey, that's a pretty good unit again, you're going to want some of those. So that's always how I look at it. Like I genuinely never I never look at it like, God, I wasted all that time, that was such a silly mistake. I just go like, alright, these guys aren't competitive right now, I will play them again. I'm sure of it, I just don't know when. JD Peterson, you literally caught me 1 minute before I finished. I just said like 15 minutes ago. I've been live for like 2.5 hours. I'm usually live on Wednesday nights. Thursday nights I'm either live or I'm live on my podcast. And you can catch the podcast if you search 3 Grots on YouTube. or 3 Gots Warhammer probably. If you search that on YouTube, you'll catch the podcast. You can also listen it on any devices that you listen to podcasts on, I guess. And then Saturdays and Sunday nights. So the nights I'm live are usually Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays. And it's the same every week. I will update my if I ever change that schedule seriously, or I do try and post on Discord if I can't make a stream as well, so that you guys know to not be just waiting around going, hey, is there a stream tonight? Cool. But this guy didn't quite get finished. Yeah, I guess the time zone is crazy different. It's 11:15 here at night, so I need to go and spend half an hour with my wife before it's bedtime. Jim's got to get some Flamestorm aggressors built. Lack of true jump pack units is the only thing keeping me going full into Blood Angels. Yeah, I mean, there's been lots of rumours about a Blood Angels refresh, Pete, and we might get that. In 9th, Blood Angels had 5,000 games, Black Templar had 2.5, Wolves had 3.9. Oh my goodness, so Dark Angels had the most games, Blood Angels were 2nd, Wolves were 3rd, Iron Hands were 4th, and Ultras were last. Here, that's probably skewed DTM because Ultras never got a codex. If you go for a whole edition and you never got a codex, I feel like the codex makes people excited. I actually think it's kind of mad that they went through that edition there and didn't give Ultras a codex. Might have to finish. I won't be painting again before tomorrow night. So yeah, tomorrow night I'm going to start with this guy. We'll finish off his colours and then we'll get onto some edge highlighting tomorrow. I think I'm going to be painting tomorrow night. I think I've got like half an hour to finish off Friday's tactics video, and then I'll get to painting. So surely Games Workshop was sensible enough to save Jump Pack Primaris Marines for the Blood Angels refresh in 10th. I do kind of think that Highland Phoenix, but I thought that we were going to get like a Jump Pack refresh in 9th edition. I honestly thought that was like I probably at one point thought we were going to get that in 8th. But I didn't have the channel 8th edition, so I guess no one... Well, I wasn't talking about stuff like this. I used to watch Drivel or listen to music when I painted. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching tonight. Please hit the like button before you go. Thank you to my new members. Really pleased to have hit the member goal with 20 days to go. I appreciate that. Thank you to all the existing members in green names, as always. You guys are really appreciated. Remember, if you want to support the channel, you can do that here on YouTube by clicking join, or on Patreon for like less than the price of a cup of coffee, like $2-3 a month. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've got a new video coming out Friday. I guess I'm doing a little bit more painting at the moment because I've got to get ready for 10th edition. So I'll do a live game next Wednesday though. I'm trying to think. Oh, there might be a live game on Sunday. Yes, there might be a live game on Sunday night. There might not be an Army List show this Sunday night. We might do a game on Sunday night. It might be Drukari. Someone from the channel is coming to visit me this weekend. I'm not going to say much more because I don't know if time zones are going to work out. But I got a message from a member of the channel saying he's going to be... Oh shit, don't drop the model. He's going to be in Elgin and he's going to have a Drukari army. Do I want a game? And I said yes. So there might be an impromptu game on Sunday night that's not on the normal schedule. If that does happen, then obviously we won't have a live show this Sunday. I have no idea. He sent me 2 photos of his Drukari list. The problem is, I played Drukari twice actually at 1GT this edition. I played them at an RTT, and then I played them maybe once on stream. And I find Drukari very difficult for Blood Angels. It might be different now if we have I was going to say, because my list has a bunch of Infernal Pistols in it, and Infernal Pistols are really good at opening up the bolts so we can kill what's inside. But I think when I played them in tournaments, or when I played them like a year ago on stream, I would have had like one Infernal Pistol on my list, so the chances of me opening up the boats are like slim to none. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. I'll try and post when I know exactly. If Arcs of Omen hadn't give Dark Angels that crazy buff, then they would have been played a lot less. Probably you could say that about Iron Hands as well. Yeah. The signs for 10th edition don't make me optimistic for Infernal Pistols versus vehicles. They don't, but I suppose it's going to be the toughness of those Dakari bolts, for example, right? Like if a Rhino is tough, the Rhino used to be T7, and it's gone to T9. So arguably, like if we think of a Dakari Raider, and I forget what the other one's called, but one of them is T5, one of them is T6, right? So if like a Raider, it's annoying me forgetting what the other Dakari boat is called now. But if a Raider was T5, I can't remember which one's T5, if it was T6, but maybe they only go up to T8 res. So if they're only T8, Infernal Pistols are still wounding them on 3s, potentially, meaning Blood Angels with a lot of Infernal Pistols could blow up. Raider was T6, the Venom was T5, thank you. So maybe the Raider, like, because the Raider's less toughness than a Rhino, so arguably it should stay less, right? So maybe the Raider's T8, the Venom's T7, or something. Maybe they're both T8, who knows, but arguably they might be easier to wound than all the Space Marine vehicles. Who knows? Who knows? So many things to get into. As always, we'll get into all of them as soon as we know more, guys. Thanks for watching tonight. I do appreciate it. I know it's a longer session. It's going to be longer sessions whenever I can get a chance to do a longer session. I want to get so many models ready for 10th edition. Cool. Alright, enjoy your evening. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys soon. New video on Friday as well, by the way.